back to TM Outdoors. As you can see, I'm in the garage, not on the water today, so I figured I'd take the time and just do a little walkthrough of how I'm rigging up my eco fishing shop Jackson Knarr this year. I've changed a lot of things in the past few weeks just to figure out how exactly I like to have my boat rigged out, but I think I've pretty well figured out completely how I'm going to do things this year. Got a lot of money wrapped up in this thing, but it's a pretty sweet rig. Alright, so like any kayak walkthrough you've probably ever seen, I'm just gonna go your normal bow to stern, just how I like to rig things up and how I like to fish out of it. So starting up here at the front, I've got the one objective Knarr bow mount plate. This thing is rock solid. I've definitely ran into some things and it's saved me a few times. Sitting on top of that, I have the Motor Guide XI3 with the spot lock. I do run the katana prop because I do like to fish in some grass every once in a while. And that katana prop has saved me quite a bit of time from taking weeds off my prop. Moving back a little bit, I do have some of my navigation lights on either side of my bow mount plate, like there. And I have them running here into my hatch. Kind of jimmy rigged for now, but it works until I can get some yak power going. Down to a switch and a battery. I just flip that switch, lights come on both sides. It's pretty simple, but it works. It's effective and it was pretty cheap. Also inside my hatch, I have my battery for my depth finder. I have it running through, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I have it running through the rod tube, my top rod tube, up to my depth finder here. So I like to keep my PFD in here while I'm not on the water. Now if you come back around the other side of the boat here, how I have my motor wired up, I've just got it to a quick release plug here, and I have another one here gear tied that runs all the way back to my battery in the back. But it goes through here, down into that rod tube. I cut a hole in this top rod tube as well, and it runs my wires all the way to the back of the kayak to my battery. Moving more towards the middle of the kayak here, I recently upgraded, got me a nice cooler through work. This thing has surprised me quite a bit so far, and it seems like it's going to keep ice for a long time. I do run a Garmin 74SV with the side scan. All my wires and everything are ran through this rod sock down into that tube. And then the transducer, I have a Navarre scupper mount that runs down through there. And if you can see it here, I have the skid plate for the transducer taken off. I'm trying to figure out which way I get the best reads from my transducer. So far, without the skid plate, it's actually been quite a bit better on my 2D. But I do have it mounted here on top of the new Jackson Flex Drive Mark IV. This thing is fast. I mean, I can get this 14-foot, 140-pound kayak, about 200 pound once I get everything loaded down, up to about 4.5 miles an hour fairly easy, which is pretty much the exact speed that Motor Guide pushes me. So it's kind of crazy that I can pedal it just as fast as my 55-pound thrust motor can push it. So far this thing seems to be bulletproof. I had an older Jackson Drive before, and this thing is so much smoother, so much quieter, faster, I mean everything. The prop, on a lot of the Jackson drives, of course I'm shorter so things get in the way sometimes, but it just spins like normal, like a bicycle. You drop it down into the water and you're good to go. It's really nice having that there, so if you hit anything, it'll bounce up into the hole there, so you can just go nice and super shallow. Or if you need to get like grass and stuff off of it, you can just open that up, get it off, and keep on going. I do have my rods most of the time in the internal rod stagers here on the kayak. It's really, really nice not having them up in the air in the wind on really windy days, because the wind will push you around quite a bit with rods sticking up. So being able to store a bunch of rods here inside the kayak with me and still have a good amount of space is really, really nice. I can normally keep, right now it looks like I have, I think 7 rods in here. I have kept 9 in these tubes before. You can easily put 3 in each rod tube there and everything will still be nice and kosher. Nothing's gonna get broke. And then I just strap them down with some rod glove wraps here. And here in the back on the little stagers. I do run a GoPro mount right here sometimes. After my fish catches, I'll plop it on there and I'll get some video, or sometimes I will run it right there on the side of the Mark IV. Let's see here. On the seat, I have to be pretty far forward. I'm a shorter guy. It would be nice if I could go farther back, but I just have to be able to reach the pedals. I do have my kayak cushion here. This thing's a back saver, lifesaver. I mean, if you have a kayak, you really do need a kayak cushion. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just a really, really good product. Got my clippers, got my pliers, which very fortunately fit just perfect right there. My catch board, I put a piece of Velcro in here. I think I saw somewhere online. That way it's not banging around everywhere. Piece of Velcro here, and I put a zip tie here in the back. That way it doesn't get to move around a lot at all. I do like to have a rod holder right here. So after you catch a fish, or if you want to tie on a different bait or something, I can turn this thing, have it pointed up. I can face my rods out the back if I want to. It's really, really nice having a front-facing rod holder. I think anybody that runs a kayak in general should have a front-facing rod holder. It's just really, really nice to have. The new Jackson multi-tool box that comes with the Jackson Knarr, I do run it right here behind the seat. I keep a GoPro battery pack in here along with wraps, line, gloves, bait fuel, scents, my flashlight, and a little reel that I use as a lure retriever. It's really nice to just have this little box. It seems to be pretty watertight if you get it nice and bungeed down here in the front. I've kept all kinds of stuff in it. It's got all kinds of tool holders on both sides. It's came in handy quite a bit, honestly. I have 2 cup holders. This one I just like to keep baits in farther down in the kayak, and then that other one over there, I do like to keep a drink in. And I do like to keep track of my fish that I catch. I'm only at 20 this year, which is kind of sad, but I just really haven't got to fish much. But that's about to turn around here this weekend, as I have a tournament here on Palm here in Missouri. Moving back a little bit more, I have the new Blackpack Pro. This is the 13x16 that they came out with first. I have their little 90-degree mount here with a lock and load base that I run my Panfish Pro mount for my GoPro. The GoPro that is always on while I'm fishing. Really good mount made by Yak Attack. Can't really say anything bad about it other than I just wish the thing didn't rotate. I have my Blackpack tied in here on the tri-track and through the tri-track on the back here. In my Blackpack, it is normally cram packed. I've got 2 KVD soft plastic bags here that I keep all my soft plastics in, and then I have my Plano Edge boxes just full of tackle. That's about all of them that I normally bring right there. I have just a box full of batteries, markers, just everything that you might need in a day on kayaking or in a tournament. And then I have all of my GoPro accessories, extra battery pack, and GoPro batteries. Being that the Blackpack Pro is so versatile, I have rearranged how I've had this thing set up like 5 times now. I've used it as a battery box on my old kayak. I've done all kinds of stuff with it. So now I've got it set up to where my rods are at kind of diagonal at an angle, so I can get under trees and stuff a little bit better. It seems to be pretty nice, and I like it that way, so it's probably how I'm gonna rock it the rest of the year. Moving back a little bit more, I have my flag here. I do run my safety flag, my Moyak safety flag, shout out Moyak, on top of my power pole here, which I have an 8-foot power pole, and then I have that safety flag and light on the top. So if a boater doesn't see me, they probably shouldn't be driving a boat. That's all I'm gonna say. Going in the back hatch here, this is where I keep my Amped Outdoors 60 amp hour battery. Great battery. I can run that motor guide at least 10 miles that I know of. And then I have my circuit breaker back there. This little contraption here, the pulleys and everything, is the steering system for the Knarr. I've got it pretty well dialed in now. It is pretty good steering. Once you get it all dialed in and tightened down, you can turn this thing on a dime for a 14-foot kayak, which is pretty surprising. Over here on the other side, I do run a Yak Attack leverage landing net from Eco Fishing Shop. I like to stage it right here up front. That way when I do have a fish hooked and I'm ready to get him in the net, I have it sitting right here. That way I can just grab it, scoop up the fish, and I'm in the kayak. The quicker you can do things in a kayak and get everything situated and your fish measured, that's the best thing you can do, really. I do run a Yak Attack double header mount for my paddle. I like the double header, I just don't like how far it sits out, so I am looking at other options. But this is a great accessory for any kayak if you need a good paddle holder. Other than that, this is my Jackson Knarr. I really love this kayak, and I'm lucky to be a part of the Jackson Kayak Fishing team. Hopefully I can catch a couple big ones out of it this year and place good in some tournaments. Before I do wrap up the video, the one amazing thing about this Jackson Knarr is this new tri-track that they have on here. You can literally mount anything that you want on any side of this track, of course, other than the bottom because you can't get to it. But you can mount anything. This boat has so much track on it. You can just do anything with it. It's so customizable, it's not even funny. And I would also like to add, just as a little note, there's probably a lot of people that are probably like, well, why don't you just buy a boat? Well, for one, just a regular old 14-foot John boat now is $2,000. $2,000 just for a metal hull of a John boat. Two, the kayak community is just different. The kayak community is so welcoming, so helping. If you ever need anything from a kayak guy, they're definitely gonna help you if they can. And lastly, really, just entry fees and like the cost of upkeep. I really don't have to do anything to this kayak other than just upgrade it if I want to. I come home, charge my batteries, and I'm ready to go out the next day. The only thing I have to pay for is gas in my truck, and that's it. Entry fees for kayak tournaments too can definitely be a lot cheaper. Like you can pay $50 to $60 for a weekend tournament in a kayak and possibly come home with $1,000 to $1,500. And all you really had to pay for was your entry fee and your gas, and then I guess the electric that you had to charge your batteries with, if you even have batteries. The kayaking community is just so different, and it's amazing that it allows people to get in at a smaller cost if you really want to. Well guys, I think that's gonna wrap up my bow to stern walkthrough of my Jackson Knarr. Pretty much all of the accessories that you have seen in the video today you can get over at Eco Fishing Shop. The guys over there can get you hooked up, get you a good deal. And I'm just super ready to get on the water this year and fish some tournaments. It should be a good year. The weather's starting to turn around and the fish are biting. So y'all have a great afternoon, a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.